Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tousi TV, your global news channel. I'm Maya Tousi and this is your latest news update, this time from the Islamic Kingdom of Britannia. Yes, in the UK, we have now banned the Israeli football fans, there's going to be a game in Birmingham on the 6th of November. It's all kicking off. Keir Starmer is going to be exposed exclusively by this channel in the next few minutes because he is lying to the general public. He's lying to the whole world about his position on this because he said, this is the wrong decision to ban the Israeli fans, but he himself was actually hanging out with people who wanted to ban Israel from FIFA, the whole of football in general. I'm going to give you guys the update. We're going to have a special guest in the next few minutes. The Israeli journalist Youssef Haddad, and also one of the biggest fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv, is going to be joining us live on Tousi TV. First things first, Maccabi Tel Aviv fans have now been banned, a campaign led by Islamic MPs in the British Parliament. Ayub Khan started this. He said, I welcome the news that Maccabi Tel Aviv fans will not be permitted to watch the match at Aston Villa. Well done to all those that signed our petition. Now, Birmingham is a very special place, in case you don't know. Over half of the youth population in Birmingham are now Islamic. They're Muslim. So obviously, this was always going to happen. Now, as I said, we are going to have Youssef Haddad joining us in a few minutes. But before we do that, let's go to Ayub Khan, the Islamic MP in Parliament, who celebrated this. It kind of feels like the first generation. He's not even born in the UK, by the way. He's a first generation immigrant from Pakistan, calling the shots in Britain.
Well, excellent news for the people of Birmingham and, most importantly, the residents here in Aston. I launched a petition to oppose the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from coming to Birmingham and then into the Aston Villa Stadium. The surrounding ward of Aston is a ward that sits within my constituency. And I had many residents and businesses express concern of the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from coming into our area. Clearly,
Okay, so let me just clarify. The reason, the first they said, this is just for safety, for their own safety. And then they said, no, because the Tel Aviv fans are a hooligan. And then they're calling them terrorists now, apparently. But they keep going back to what happened a year ago in Amsterdam. There was a football match. And obviously the anti-Jewish side started hunting down the Jews on the streets of Amsterdam. And some of the Maccabi Tel Aviv football fans obviously fought back. And they also, obviously, it's football, so people have crazy chants. So they were saying, F the Arabs and this and that. But the people who don't understand football or football chants are having a meltdown. Let me just do a reminder. If you're going to ban football fans based on chants, well, at a friendly match in Amsterdam in 2018, this is where it gets interesting. The Dutch police arrested over 100 English football fans for bad behavior. Now, this is significantly more than what happened last year in Amsterdam with the Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters, because last year there was a combined arrest of only 67 between the Tel Aviv side and Ajax. So, compared to the English football fans. This is just the nature of football. But this isn't really about football, isn't it? Because Keir Starmer has said this is the wrong decision. We will not tolerate anti-Semitism on our streets. The role of the police is to ensure all football fans can enjoy the game. Okay. I think Keir Starmer should talk to someone, maybe someone in charge, maybe the Prime Minister. Oh wait, he is the Prime Minister. That's why we are going to be exposing him right now on Tousi TV. In 2015, only 10 years ago, Keir Starmer attended an event and spoke at an event which was calling for Israel to be banned from FIFA and the whole of football. Of course, behind him, there was also a sign for Gaza and the siege, and the usual suspects were there. So it seems like now Keir Starmer wants you to believe that, this is such a bad decision. Well, you call for that, for Israelis and the Jewish nation to be banned. Now, why are you surprised that in Birmingham, which, as we said, over 50% of the youth population in Birmingham are now Islamic, why are you surprised that this is happening. This isn't about safety. Zara Sultana said, next, UEFA must ban all Israeli teams. We cannot have normalization with genocide and apartheid. Apartheid, okay. She also said this. Apartheid South Africa was banned from the Olympics for 32 years. The same people who call for Nelson Mandela terrorists. Apartheid. We are going to ask Yusuf in a minute, but let's not forget that Maccabi Tel Aviv has Muslim players. And they literally have Arab Muslim players in their team. How is that an apartheid? Now, there was an Islamic preacher in Birmingham, obviously, the Islamic land of Birmingham, Astar Rashid, who's told his followers that the Muslims of Birmingham should show no mercy to the Israeli football fans. Let's see if the Prime Minister is going to do anything about him.
We safeguard the vulnerable from any type of exploitation. That is the character of a Muslim, or has a Muslim as a rahmah. This, remember, rahmah is in its place. It's in its place. When the Tel Aviv fans come to Birmingham in a few weeks, we will not show them rahmah in Birmingham. But it has its time and place. If you meet an IDF soldier and you charge him riba, there is no riba. You can take from him. Take, not give. You meet this IDF guy,
Anyway.
and you say, you know your team's gonna win.
So that's happening now. Apparently he's not been arrested, but we can be arrested for saying that Hamas is a terrorist organization. Now, to discuss this, let's go to the Israeli journalist and the biggest fan of Maccabi Tel Aviv, Yusuf Haddad, is joining us in a few seconds. There we go. Where is he? There we go. We have him. Hello, Yusuf. How are you?
Hello, hello.
I was expecting you to wear that T-shirt, by the way.
I've been wearing this since the 7th of October, and although we have all our 20 live hostages back in Israel, uniting with their families, we still have 19 dead hostages in Gaza, and I will not stop wearing this T-shirt until each and every hostage come back to our land, to Israel. And this is a Maccabi Tel Aviv, obviously, T-shirt, so bring them home. We will continue fight until each and every one of them, last one of them, come home back to Israel.
Yes. So what do you say about the allegations that Maccabi Tel Aviv and Israel is an apartheid? I believe you have an Arab background. How can you, as an Arab, basically support this? What do you have to say about this?
You know, we are smiling, but it's really actually very, very, very sad because of the fact that a lot of anti-Israel terrorist supporters, pro-Palestinians, what they do is exactly they take the most negative thing there is about a team or about a country or about a culture or about an organization, focus on that, show only the negative and the bad things without showing the full picture. So I'm here to show the whole picture. I want to talk about the full picture. Yes, we do hear chants in the stadium, whether it's in Tel Aviv, in Haifa, Jerusalem, or guess what, in Manchester, or in Torino, or in Berlin, or I don't know where. So unfortunately, you do have this. But if you look at the bigger picture, I'm here to tell you about that. The bigger picture is like this. While we're speaking right now, you have young kids, training in Tel Aviv, Maccabi Tel Aviv, both Jews and Arabs. I've seen it on my own eyes. You know why? Because my nephew trained in Maccabi Tel Aviv. And the way that the coaches and the team players, both Arabs and Jews, accepted him and took him and hugged him and they welcomed him, it is unbelievable. But then you go on, and not only through the kids, but the youth department, and then after that, in the official team, Maccabi Tel Aviv, you see time after time how Jews and Arabs play together. And you know what? It's not just Maccabi Tel Aviv. You know, for the last decade, you know that the captain of the national Israeli team was a Muslim. His name is Bibras Natcho. And so people to come and say that Israel is an apartheid state, or that Maccabi Tel Aviv is a racist club. And the fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv who chants to Abu Farhi. Abu Farhi is an Arab Muslim striker, plays for Maccabi Tel Aviv, and scored a goal just last week. So, and everybody was chanting and happy about it. So to do that is just to mislead everybody else. Let's call the baby by its name. And it's very simple. Britain is being occupied by extreme immigrants from the Middle East, bringing the mentality of the Middle East to Britain. And the fact is that your government in Britain and the police in Britain cannot handle those extremists to the level where they ban Jewish fans and Israeli fans coming to watch a game as a safety measure. No, it's not as a safety measure. It's because you're scared of the extremists because you can't handle them. And guess what? Let me be clear here. If you think by doing this, you're avoiding the problem, you're kind of like an ostrich. You put your head down in the sand thinking that the danger will pass because you're not looking at the danger. Well, guess what? It makes it easier for them to chop your head. And this is what's going to happen to Britain if you don't wake up.
I mean, they've only managed to ban the fans from the stadium. And if the ban still stays in place, because I think it's going to be reversed, but if it stays, I've already heard from some of the Maccabi fans that they're still going to come to Birmingham anyway. Are you going to come down?
There's a big chance that I might come. I need to see my schedule, but definitely. And if it is, we go together.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, to be fair, there's a lot of pressure on the Prime Minister to reverse this. And I think they will basically lift the ban. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily a good thing, because it's going to anger Birmingham, because, as we said, over half of the youth population is Islamic. And so you guys will need extra security. So I think things will kick off anyway. And I think I can already predict what's going to happen, because obviously the Israeli fans will have to defend themselves, like in Amsterdam. And I think the media is just going to show the Israelis basically kicking off and not showing how it happened. What's your perspective on the whole, just the way the media in Britain, in the West, is kind of portraying Israelis and Jews in general? Is it getting frustrating for you? I know it's part of your work and it's a game that you're in, but it must get tiring, right?
No, so we can't get tired. We can't get tired. We need to fight and to fight back, because of the fact that the opponents, let's call them like this, they're not getting tired. They're only getting even stronger and stronger, and lying more and more and twisting the facts more and more. So we cannot allow ourselves to just get tired. We have to continue and fight. And with the opportunity for me even to speak right now to the audience right now, it is an opportunity for me because the fact is that I can share them my perspective as an Arab living in the state of Israel, and not only that, as a fan of Maccabi Tel Aviv, yeah, and for me the fact is that thousands, if not tens of thousands of people will watch us and will hear my voice. That itself can have a bit of a maybe different, or make sure that people have a different thinking about it, or even like work for it with us in cooperation. So that's why we cannot get tired. But obviously, when I see the media and how they presented it, not only just the media in the Western world, but also in the Arab world. I mean, look at it. They said that the media back then in Amsterdam, they said fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv were attacked in Amsterdam. But I've seen all the videos. All the videos show Moroccan immigrants, extremists, who had one mission, which is to humiliate, attack, and actually hurt Israeli supporters of Maccabi Tel Aviv after they watched the game. Okay? Now, they go and obviously take, as I said, always the bad and the negative parts of each and every one, from whether it's Maccabi Tel Aviv or any other side of Israel, and they show that without even showing the full picture, as maybe for the 10,000 times only now I'm saying this, yeah? And when you do that, you create a misleading of the truth. And when you do that, you make people actually to join the extremists that already worked up from the beginning and were ready to attack just because Israelis are there, regardless to what they do. Even if there is not even a single Maccabi fan that it did a simple chant or any chant, kind of chant, they will still be attacked. There was pre-orchestrated. They already prepared for it. They prepared all the Uber driver to take them to a place where they can attack them. They prepared to ask them by names, to show passports. So this has nothing had to do with whether Maccabi Tel Aviv fans chanted this or said that or acted like this or acted like that. It was prepared to be attacked like this. And let's say it by this: Moroccan immigrants attacked Israelis in Amsterdam. And then, if you want to go to Birmingham, to Aston Villa, if something like this happening right now, it's because of the majority of extremists living in Birmingham from the Muslim community. They don't want Maccabi Tel Aviv to come, not the average British, not the average resident of Birmingham, no, but those who actually came from the Middle East and occupied Birmingham and occupied Britain. That's who they don't want Maccabi Tel Aviv. And you know, I gotta give here a warning, because I want to be, as someone in the history, as someone who gave that fair warning to the British people. Look, today it's about Israel. Today is about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. What do you think is going to happen when the conflict would be inside Britain, internal? What do you think is going to happen when you clash with the same extremists that right now chanting from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free? Soon they're going to chant, all Britain will be free of whom? Of maybe al-kuffar, the infidels, of those who don't talk like them and speak like them and act like them. So here I'm warning you, you're on the edge of a civil war. This is not something to be, you know, I'm not exaggerating. And I'm not saying it because I want to sound extreme. I am warning you guys. You're on the edge of a civil war, of a war between cultures, of an unfortunately war even between religions, and of a war between values of Western values to the negative Middle Eastern values. I wish those people who came to Britain would have brought the beautiful things and the best values of the Middle East, because we do have. But unfortunately, they came with the most or with the most negative values that they can bring with, and they are embedding it in your culture. And instead of fighting back, tell them, no, you are here in Britain and you're gonna respect us, respect our laws, and bow down to our laws and be part of our Western values. You are the guys who are bowed down to their laws, to the new laws, and to the new values. So please, I urge you, wake up. I don't want this video to be published 20 years from now and say, the Arab guy from Israel warned us. Why didn't we listen? So wake up.
Yes, no, I absolutely agree. And actually, to be fair, you mentioned the football chants and all that nonsense. It's football anyway. So, for example, the Maccabi fans would say, "F the Arabs." We know, obviously, they mean the anti-Jewish, the Arabs who want to occupy the land. But also,
let me tell you something. Wait, just one more thing. One more thing about this. Okay, listen to this. Prior to the 7th of October, okay. Prior to the 7th of October, there was a chant that says, let the IDF F the Arabs, okay?
Yeah.
Now, this chant was, and again, I'm in the stadium, so I'm telling you as an eyewitness, yeah? I'm in the stadium, and you have 30,000 people watching the game, and then a minority of them start singing that song. A majority of them, and I have a clip for it, by the way, booing this. Okay.
Yeah. Because I got Arabs in the team.
Later, I had a conversation with some of the most fanatic fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv. You know what they told me? They said, Yusuf, listen, you are our brother and you are an Arab. When we chant this, our thinking and our thoughts is about those who come and commit suicide, bombing inside our country and kill civilians. Our thoughts is like Hamas when they invaded Israel and massacred, by the way, Jews and Arabs and kidnapped Jews and Arabs. But we have Arab football players in Maccabi Tel Aviv, from the kids until the elder. And we have fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv, Druze, Muslims, Christians. Okay? So when we chant this, we never intend to chant this against all the people who are actually supporting Maccabi Tel Aviv or not supporting terrorism. We're talking about the terrorists. And guess what? The terrorists who attack Israel are Arabs. Let's be honest. Let's be really honest about it.
But there's also the football is tribalism, and you protect your tribe. Usually it's a joke, it's banter, as we say in Britain. And the other chant that I actually quite like that Maccabi fans sing is and the communists will take your girls. Basically, if you're a communist, you come here. But that's the thing. If you're going to go based on that, this team, the England national football team that I support, should be banned from all countries because they go to the Swedish saying your ass, but your bird, as in your girls are fit. They go to Germany and say 2 world wars and 1 World Cup, which is true. And you don't want to know what they say about the French. So if you're going to ban people based on chants, then I think England should just be banned from everywhere. But firstly, most of the people who are outraged, apart from the fact that they're anti-Semitic, but the others, they're kind of all liberal left-wingers, they don't know football. They don't understand the culture of football. And do you think that there is I mean, you mentioned this kind of on the brink of civil war, but do you think basically the European political establishments, government and institutions are getting occupied by this virus, and is it going to be too late to save it?
Well, this is really what scares me. I mean, at the beginning, when we saw this, I said to myself, "There's no problem," because when it comes to the political positions and even in the army, you would see that still the people who holds the values of the West are in position. But step by step, we're saying that people who actually hold the values of, and not the good values, but the sick values of the Middle East, they're the one who's now starting to hold those positions, very key positions, whether it's in the local cities or even in terms of being in the parliament. So this is really scares me. Like up until that point, I would say, you know what? People, but as long as you have those who are actually in power, so maybe this will be, everybody will be aligned and they will gain control. But now Britain is losing control. And the evidence to that is we're seeing what's happening. They're raising the flag of Palestine, but there's a problem with raising the flag of England. Where did we arrive? How did we arrive to the situation where you are in Britain, that country, that territory that dominated even the world, and now cannot even control itself within the borders of Britain? It scares me. I am not going to lie to you. It scares me, and it scares me to see. Like, just look at the Birmingham official who spoke about banning Maccabi Tel Aviv. This is not what Britain looked like. I'm sorry, and this is not like what Britain sounds like. And you see, this guy is a pure anti-Semitic. Give me 5 minutes with him. I will show you and prove you how anti-Semitic this guy is and how of a terror supporter this guy is and how he eventually, will bring destruction into Britain just to promote his agenda. So yes, I am deeply concerned. And I really hope that maybe the train hasn't left the station yet. Although I'm seeing some evidence to the fact that it's getting late and late for everybody. So, you know what? You've seen everything. You've seen the videos. You've seen how they're acting. You've seen that Britain is being banned in Britain. I can't believe that you're banning Israel from Britain, but also they're banning Britain from Britain. Okay. Yep. So what do you need more evidence to that to go and fight and have a say? You guys who love this country and wants to see this country free, because keep in mind, soon this country will not be free, and the values and the attitude of the Middle East, the same people who run away from the Middle East, they're bringing it to you guys into your own home. And I joked sort of about it, but I'm really serious. Israel has been in a war for the last 2 years from 7 fronts plus additional front, which is the propaganda front from all over the world. And you know what? We're still standing tall. We beat our enemies, and despite the fact that thousands of missiles launched, even tens of thousands of missiles launched to our country, I can tell you that we have a better and brighter future in Israel than Britain.
This is the weird thing about you guys. When I came to Israel, I was speaking to Muslims, Jews and Christians. is that with everything that's happened to you guys in the country for the past few decades, you guys have every right to actually be the victim, but you guys refuse to play the victim card and you just keep fighting back. And that kind of makes it worse because they hate it. That, because they hate it if you're a victim and they hate it if you're strong. They hate it when you're in Europe. They hate it when you're not in Europe, when you're in Israel. Basically, it doesn't matter where you are. You're always the enemy. Let
me tell you something. If Ukraine would beat the hell out of Russia, the world would be with Russia, not with Ukraine. Okay, so that's actually what's so stupid about that thinking. Because if Ukraine would have beaten Russia, then not only they would have beaten those who actually attacked them, but they were actually doing good because they're protecting themselves and they're making sure that no one attacks them, and they are the one who's on the right side of the history. But the fact is that Ukraine is weaker than Russia. That's it. That's enough. Now Israel is the same thing, but the only difference is that we're strong. We're very, very, very strong, and we can fight for ourselves. And that's why we've seen what we've seen. But that's why also we know that we need to protect ourselves, and this is exactly what we're doing. And a lot of people are asking me, "You're an Arab. Why you're saying protect ourselves when Israel is a Jewish state?" So let me tell you this: right now, as we speak, you have Arabs and Jews fighting in Gaza. Yes, we still control over 50% of Gaza, and you still have Arab and Jewish soldiers fighting inside. And when we speak about the Israeli civilians, what do you think happened, for instance, during the Iran-Israel war, or should I say the IRGC war against the Israeli people and the Iranian people? Because during those 12 days, missiles hit Arab towns, Jewish towns. You had the Arab Israelis killed by the ballistic missiles from Iran, and you have Jewish Israelis killed by the ballistic missiles. And of course, Jews and Arabs were kidnapped by Hamas. Jews and Arabs were killed and murdered by Hezbollah. Don't let me talk about the Arab Druze kids in the football, as we speak about football, from that missile from Hezbollah who was launched from Lebanon to Majd al-Shams in Israel, killing children while they're playing football in a football field. So it's all of us together. So yes, this is my country. And don't be surprised, as an Arab, I'm saying that this is my country. And you know what? I'm a former IDF soldier. I volunteered to serve in the IDF. I've seen in my own eyes everything that I needed to see, from how it is the most moral army in the world that knows how not to attack when you see children of an enemy, while those enemies are using those children as human shield. And I hear the commander says, aboard the mission, children on sight. I've seen it. I've been into Lebanon. I fought inside Lebanon. Some of the families that welcomed us in Bint Jbeil told me, if you think Hezbollah is terrorizing the Israelis, wait until you see how they're terrorizing us, the Lebanese. Good luck. I had Arab Lebanese families in Bint Jbeil, southern Lebanon, telling me as an IDF soldier, good luck on fighting and beating Hezbollah. So you know what? I am proud of my country, and I'm proud of the fact that I'm an Arab and an Israeli, and I will keep defending my country and show the truth about it, because this is what we need to do in front of all those liars who only lie in sight because they have a specific agenda, which is literally support terrorism and bring the shit mentality from the Middle East to the West.
Absolutely spot on, Yusuf. And of course, when you become Prime Minister of Israel, things will get even better. And me and Niak Robani are going to force you to come to Birmingham, because whether the fans are banned or not, we are going to Birmingham and fight back. Thank you so much again, Yusuf, for coming on the show. Cheers, mate. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue this because one of the main issues that we're currently facing is the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, who doesn't even care about this. He doesn't. He doesn't care about England. He doesn't care about, well, his own wife, who's Jewish. And he, as we exposed him earlier, in 2015, he went to an event that basically called for Israel to be banned from FIFA. He then posted this a few hours ago before things kicked off completely. Let me just show you a few seconds of this. He basically went to the Jewish community saying, we will protect you.
We have to step up in relation to defeating anti-Semitism. Action is what matters. And we're absolutely committed to that. The discussion we've had this morning was not about words. It was about what are the actions that are going to follow through.
Words, action. Okay, so he posted earlier saying, oh, this decision by Birmingham is wrong. but apparently I don't really have any power. You're the Prime Minister. Of course, if you're watching this live with me right now, that's different. But I'm going to make a prediction over the next few hours, over the next few days. The decision to ban the Israeli fans will be reversed. And but that, as I said to Yusuf, doesn't mean it's a good thing, because it's just going to get worse, because Birmingham, people in Birmingham, the anti-Semitic people of Birmingham are going to kick off. So the Israeli fans, we're going to need massively increased security anyway. We are going to be there to report this live on the ground for you guys. Emily Damari also posted, obviously former hostage, and she's a big fan of Maccabi Tel Aviv, saying, I was released from Hamas captivity in January, and I am a die-hard fan of Maccabi Tel Aviv. I am shocked to my core with this outrageous decision to ban me, my family, and my friends from attending an Aston Villa game in the UK. Football is a way of bringing people together, irrespective of their faith, colour, or religion. And this disgusting decision does the exact opposite. Shame on you. I hope you come to your senses and reconsider. I do wonder what exactly has become of British society. This is like putting a big sign on the outside of the stadium saying no Jews allowed. What has become of the UK, where blatant anti-Semitism has become the norm. What a sad world we are living in. The Islamic side know what they did wrong. In 1998, the World Cup in France, Iran and America played against each other. And it was because football do bring people together. That kind of backfired on the Islamic Republic of Iran. And since then, they learned their lesson. Because when the Americans and the Iranians were hanging out in a football stadium around the world, watching the game together, Iran beat America 2-1, by the way. Brilliant. But that aside, it brought unity between the American people and the Iranian people. The Islamic Republic kicked off about that. And since then, they're like, well, we're going to have to control football. And that's how they started to do this. So it's not really just about the Jews. It's about any enemy the enemy of Islam, essentially. Now, there's a lot of reaction here from you guys. We have a super sticker from Jack and a comment saying that the only time hate is okay if it suits the Islamic and the Labour Party's agenda. Yeah, because they can justify it. Alison says, simple, just move the match to a more friendly stadium. It's not about that. It's not about the stadium. It doesn't matter where you take it. It's not the stadium that's banned them. It's the authorities that banned them. So even if you put it on the street in Chelsea, it will still get banned. But the Downing Street are currently having an emergency meeting with the Prime Minister. I think they will force them to lift the ban. So it's going to get juicy, let's just say. Yusuf and you're my brother. And Steve says the Americans are watching this full-on anti-Semitic government of ours dig the hole deeper daily. There will be repercussions. Yeah, Trump's going to kick off. The communists. Yeah, I do love that chant with the commies saying the communists, the Israelis chant, communists, if they come here, will take their girls. Although I don't think I want to take communist girls. Ivan says, it seems Starmer can't control his own party. Starmer can't even control his own government. It's embarrassing. 8 fronts. Kaplan front is the worst. All right. Anyway. Ivan says the Prime Minister will be out by the end of next week, in my opinion. It's becoming slightly more likely to see that I think the Prime Minister might not survive until Christmas. Or like, to be fair, Christmas is coming close, but definitely by the May local elections, he will be in massive trouble. And it's likely that they will push him out. They are waiting for a by-election, the Labour Party, so that Andy Burnham could become an MP. So Andy Burnham could challenge Keir Starmer and replace him as a leader and the Prime Minister. So it's going to be a bumpy road for the Labour government over the next couple of years. They're not going to be in government next time anyway. So it's either going to be a reform, small majority or reform minority government, or some sort of merger with the Tory reform. Because obviously Tories and reform, I mean, to be fair, most of the wet Tories have gone to reform, the Liberals, but they're still similar parties. the Tory party's rhetoric has now become more right-wing than reform, but people don't trust the Tories. So they can say a lot of right-wing things, but people don't trust the Tories. It's going to be... Well, all we know is that Starmer is not going to form a majority, or Labour won't be able to form a majority in the next election. Anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a break and come back with more news update for you guys. Don't forget to download the Tousi TV app, the home of geopolitical news, from your app stores today. I'm Maya Tousi, and we are the media.